Want to know how to plan a story out of order? Well, you've come to the right place. Hey everyone, so the web method I've noticed was a huge success. It's currently my biggest video on this channel by far. I mean, 16,000 views and counting? That is insane. Thank you all so much for checking it out. And I guess I'm gonna do more content about it because I kind of have to, right? So here is the part 2 video. A lot of you really liked the idea of writing out of order, but I got a ton of comments asking how to write out of order. They wanted me to break down the specific process rather than just talking about it. So in this video, I am going to show you how to plan a story out of order in real time. So let's get straight into it. Before we get started with the plot planning, I am going to introduce our main characters of this sample story. After all, you cannot have a good story without established characters. For the purposes of this video, I am going to use the most generic characters and story I can think of. And since I write fantasy, it's going to be fantasy. But don't get me wrong, the planning aspect here can still apply to any genre. Here we are over in Scrintl. It's a creative writing app that I am now in a paid partnership with. And using this, I'm going to show you the characters as well as plan the story out of order. So here is what this generic little story is going to be about. We've got our little synopsis here. Solaris's village is burned down by evil spirits sent by the Dark Lord. To get revenge, he goes on a quest to learn to slay these spirits and restore balance to the world. In doing so, he'll meet friends, foes, and learn what it truly means to be a wizard. So, pretty generic stuff, and here we have the Dark Lord in his cloak. I got all the characters off of stock images because I thought that would be fitting for the nature of this story. So first, we have Solaris. Solaris is our main character. His village burned down because of the evil spirits. He leaves on a quest to take revenge on the Dark Lord, and of course, he becomes a wizard. So, here he is. Again, I got it off of stock images, that's why he's dressed like Harry Potter. This is his best friend, Mika. She's been a student of Oraculus, the mentor, for a while. She helps him learn magic, and maybe she's also the love interest. Then we have Oraculus, the mentor. He's Solaris and Mika's teacher. He knows the ways of the world, fully believes evil spirits need to be destroyed, and he looks like kind of like a mad scientist in that photo. I don't know, I thought it was funny. And now for our villain and anti-hero. First, the anti-hero, we have Lunas. She believes Noctis, the villain, is doing some good, but she doesn't directly work with him, and she gets in the main character's way. We cannot have a good story, even a good generic example story, without an anti-hero, I think. And finally, the villain, Noctis, the Lord of Darkness and commander of evil spirits, wants to use them to destroy all wizards and take over the world. And here he is without his little cloak over his head. And yeah, that's it. I tried to put the minimum amount of characters in here to create a story. And if you're wondering what these little arrows are, I just thought I'd show y'all real quick what the characters' dynamics with each other are, in case that comes up in our story planning. So here they are. We've got found family, best friends. Luna sees Mika as a threat. Yeah, you can pause this and look through this if you're curious, but we're gonna kind of move on now. By the way, if you want to know where I got those character names from, they are literally the Latin meanings of their roles in the story. Most of them, I believe, Mika comes from amicus, which means friend, so it's best friend. Oraculi means mentor, Noctis means knight. So if the names sound kind of weird to you, that would be the reason why. All right, now we get to the fun part, the planning stage. I again will be using Scrintl to organize these ideas. It's honestly a good way for me to implement the web method. You can add cards and put them wherever you want on the board and connect them as you saw with the character page. So, as you can see, I've already gotten started on this board. To repeat what I said in the web method video, you want to start your story, or at least start planning your story, with the first and clearest event in your head. For me with this story, that would definitely be the climax. So here's the climax. Solaris and Mika find the source of the evil spirits and realize they aren't actually spirits at all. They are fallen wizards, ones who gave in to their darkness, but they can be redeemed. So the reason this is a big deal in this story is because the evil spirits were thought to be evil from the beginning, and that there's nothing they can do, and that they have to kill them, and that's also what their mentor told them, Solaris and Mika's mentor, Oraculus. So, naturally, they have a lot of questions now. And knowing this climax, I can immediately visualize what's probably going to happen after it. So I'm gonna add a little card down here, falling action. I'd say once they find this out, they're going to confront their mentor. Solaris and Mika go back to their mentors. Let's say he's got a wizard tower or something, and ask him what is going on. He admits that if they knew the truth, they wouldn't be able to face Noctis, because he commands the evil spirits. But if the evil spirits are all wizards that can be redeemed, it's going to be hard to fight them. Solaris sees this as no excuse, realizing their mentor has been deliberately misleading them this whole time. They have a fight, and the main characters lose. They have to run away. So now that we have the falling action, let's connect it to the climax here. Gonna use arrows going down to indicate the order of events. And I'm going to do that for pretty much every single other event. And as I know it would be boring for you guys to watch all of that, I am going to give you a nice little time lapse with some good music. So here is me planning the story. And we are done, at least for now. Here's the basic plot graph. We have our beginning, we have our rising action, climax, falling action, and even a nice little conclusion down here. This took me about half an hour, give or take. I know for y'all it was only a few minutes, so you're welcome. And honestly, it really is just only the basic events. I did not want this video to take forever or me to spend too long on this, but I bet you guys are curious about the story that I came up with, so let's go ahead and read it. So first we have the beginning. Solaris lives a peaceful life in his village until the evil spirits come. They destroy everything, and he is the only survivor. Solaris goes on the run, hiding from evil spirits along the way. Then he is rescued by a mysterious man. He introduces himself as Oraculus, and he takes him to his tower. At the tower, Oraculus nurses Solaris back to health and introduces him to his adoptive daughter Mika. She is cold to Solaris at first, but warms up to him as they learn magic together. She is ahead of him in schooling, so she shows him a lot of the ropes. The two wizards, now friends, go on their first mission to slay evil spirits. When they're about to be done, they run into a mysterious woman who attacks them. She says her name is Lunas, and she can't let them kill anymore. They ask why, but then Mika sees her clothes, realizing Lunas works for Noctis. They attack her, driving her away. Then we continue with the rising action. Mika and Solaris go back home and talk to Oraculus about what happened. He tells them next time they see Lunas, they should kill her. She's dangerous. They keep that in mind. Solaris and Mika slay many evil spirits until one day they come across a deserted village. It has a library with some ancient text. One of them alludes to the place where the secret of the spirits will be revealed. Curious, they take the book back home, but before they can get there, they run into Lunas. They fight, and Lunas retreats, although they barely won against her even working together. The pair talks to their mentor in a crystal ball, and he says not to go to the place mentioned in the ancient texts. He instructs them to come home so he can destroy it. Mika says they should listen to him, but Solaris says they should at least figure out what this secret place contains. Solaris and Mika go to this rumored source of evil spirits so they can learn more about them, and the place is mysterious and dark. The two run into Lunas on the way, who is healed and caught up with them. However, she strangely doesn't stop them when she finds out where they're going. She mentions that if they want to learn the truth of this world, after what they see what the spirits are, shall be by the magic tree. And then we get to our climax, which was the first thing we wrote, but now it connects in. Solaris and Mika find the source of the evil spirits and realize they aren't actually spirits at all. They are fallen wizards, ones who gave into their darkness, but they can be redeemed. And then we get to the falling action. Of course, our protagonists then wonder what to do, and they decide they shouldn't trust Lunas just yet. Their mentor will know what they should do. Mika encourages Solaris to trust Oraculus. After all, he raised her. They go back to the tower. So then they go back to the mentor's wizard tower and ask him what's going on. He admits that if they knew the truth, they wouldn't be able to face Noctis. Solaris sees this as no excuse, realizing their mentor has been deliberately misleading them this whole time. They have a fight and the main characters lose. They have to run away. Having no other choice, the duo goes to meet Lunas by the magic tree. They argue about what to do with Noctis until Solaris says they can take in his evil spirits. They can be better than him. They won't use them for personal gain. Lunas likes this idea and allies with them. And finally, this is the last part of the falling action. The gang runs into Oraculus on their way to Noctis's castle. He says they can't save the spirits. More will always be created, and as long as they exist, they will continue to terrorize wizard kind. It's better for people to think they are evil and get rid of them before they can cause harm. Mika confronts him about lying to her whole life, and this time with Lunas, they manage to defeat him. Mika arrests him and says she'll take him into town for justice. She urges Lunas and Solaris to go. They must defeat the Dark Lord. And that leads us into our ending, and this is what I came up with. Solaris and Lunas have a long battle against the Dark Lord and eventually defeat Noctis. When they take over his once dark castle, they vow to create a more fair world for wizards. The castle is turned into a rehabilitation center for lost souls, which is their new name, not evil spirits anymore. Solaris and Mika get married and dedicate their lives to spreading the truth and making sure these souls will never be used for evil again. And that was Wizards of Darkness. Oh, that's the most generic title ever, but I don't know. I still think it's fitting. If y'all don't, though, let me know what you want it to be called instead in the comments. I made a very simple version of the web method plot graph in this video, but of course you can always add more layers to it. If you're wondering why this looks different than the example graph in the part 1 video, it's because of that. That one is designed for a multifaceted story, while this one was a simple, straightforward, one point of view kind of story. That's what I love about the web method so much though. You can add as many layers as you want, wherever and whenever, and it's pretty easy to add multiple points of view. So that's how to plan a story out of order. If you stuck with me until the end of this, you are now my favorite person. After the web method video took off, I've been trying to figure out a way to teach you guys how to plan a story in a fun, concise way. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing the story take place as much as I did. And if you're interested in the program I use to organize these ideas, the link to Scrintl will be down below in the description. My book on writing with the web method will also be down there. With that, I hope I've inspired you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.